In this episode, we are joined by the team from Wisetail. Wisetail has been a leader in the learning management space, particularly for the restaurant industry, for a long time. Every one of the clients that I know that uses their tool just raves about how amazing it is to get the restaurant operators into a place that they can know how to use the things that they want them to do, to follow up, create a mobile solution, to be able to allow the staff to get into training. Their head of sales, Kat, and I spend a good amount of time talking about all of the different things that Wisetail can do to help operators to run more efficiently and how to get learning management into the hands of the users that they're hiring every day. If you don't know me, my name is Jeremy Julian. I am the Chief Revenue Officer for Custom Business Solutions. We sell the Northstar point of sale system for multi-units. Please check us out at cbsnorthstar.com. And now, on to our episode. Welcome back to the Restaurant Technology Guys podcast. I thank everyone out there for joining us. As I say each and every time, I know you guys have got lots of choices, so thank you for hanging out. Today is quite a fun episode. This is the second time this company has been on. Kat's going to be representing Wisetail here in a few minutes. But Kat, why don't you introduce yourself, a little bit of career background, where did it all come from? And then I'm excited to dig into kind of what are the latest things, because I think your president was on a couple of years back, and we got to learn all about what Wisetail does, and I know we'll dig into that. But why don't you give everybody a little primer on who Kat is and what a little bit of background and such.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, super excited to be here today and chat all things Wisetail. But I came to Wisetail by way of falling in love with the restaurant tech industry. I spent time at Toast back when they were pre-IPO, left from Toast, went to Smartsheet on their restaurant team and division, and then found my way to Wisetail. And I've been here going on 5 years at this point because it's really just a product that I believe in. I see us making a difference in the restaurant industry day in and day out. So absolutely love what I do, love being with Wisetail, but all things restaurant industry, I'm probably the biggest nerd that'll be on your podcast. So happy to chat.
I love that. I love that thought. And so we'll have to nerd out here in a few minutes. And I always tease guests that have been around the restaurant space for a while, which most have. It's like there's probably some form of therapy that we all need to go through because there's an energy in the restaurants, there's the people aspect of the restaurants, and then it's really hard. And it's really hard to make a good amount of money. But to your point, you guys are making a huge difference. And so that was part of why I was excited to have you guys on again. For those that either missed the last episode or have been living under a rock and don't know what Wisetail is, because you guys truly are everywhere. I see you guys in publications. I know a few people that use the product. So what is Wisetail?
Absolutely. Wisetail, we are an employee enablement platform born in the heart of Bozeman, Montana in 2008. And we've really stuck to those Rocky Mountain small town roots with how we operate. We are fully focused on being a human-centric piece of technology and how we can really help humans and specifically the frontline workforce through our technology. So the pieces of Wisetail that really comprise that employee enablement platform. Starting out, we have our learning management system, which is the heart of who we are. It's where we started as an LMS and have continued to expand and grow that product. We also have our on-track operational checklist tool. So all things daily, repeated tasks, we use that tool to support our clients. And then most recently, which very exciting, and for anyone who has been living under a rock, this might shock you, but in the last couple of years, we did acquire one of our former competitors, PlayerLink, and we have built their content management system into the Wisetail platform. So really allowing for that just-in-time resource need when you need to look at a recipe card or an SOP and you don't have the time to sift through the full training course, having that available in the app with offline capability as well.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to dig in because I think just even since the founding of the company and to today, the way that people learn and the way that people engage with information continues to change, and you guys have been on the forefront of that. I got the privilege to go to Bozeman for the first time last year. I don't know if that's where you're at, but that town is very charming, and I know at least for people from that part of the world, they're like, we don't need any more people. We're good. No. We're good. Don't move here. We're good. It snows a lot. Don't come. But charming little downtown, and got a chance to go with a client for their general managers conference in downtown and hang out for a couple of days. Let's dig into learning management. And One of the things that I think is a unique value proposition behind Wisetail is the fact that you guys really focus on frontline workers. I think a lot of learning management platforms expect somebody to be sitting at a desk, expect somebody to be sitting. I've had to do HR trainings and state mandated and government mandated trainings, and most time it's on a full browser and it's very clunky. Talk to me a little bit about how you guys consider that and why having a learning management platform that's tailored to frontline workers that are on the go is so important.
Absolutely. When we think about apps that we use day in and day out outside of the workplace, and we think about a video streaming app, I won't use a specific example because all of them do the same thing. You watch a show, the show completes, the season completes, and then it instantly is trying to keep you logged in and trying to show you that next piece of content so that you're using it as for as many hours a day as they want you on there to be able to view the ads. We're really the opposite, Jeremy, where because we're supporting the frontline workforce, we are not in a day and an age anymore where folks can step off of the floor for 4 hours to go watch videos and work through their training. We need to have quick, accessible micro training that they can do in the flow of work, be able to open up the app on whether it's a personal device, a tablet, in the time of need, get accomplished what they can complete within that limited time, and then get back on the floor.
I guess define for us, what is micro training? Because I've heard that phrase used quite a bit, and I think it's hard because you've got kind of your entry level training when I first start as a server or start as a cashier or whatever, and then I've got the micro training because it might be something that doesn't happen as often. So how does Wisetail or how does Kat define what micro training means?
Absolutely. I think most folks currently right now, the workforce, we are supporting 4 different generations. So most of us who are maybe in the older generations, dating myself here, Jeremy, but we came up in a time where training was truly sitting in a room, watching hours and hours of video, and then you're given a multiple choice test on a piece of paper, you're expected to retain it, and then you're released as if you're going to retain that information over time or that it was an impactful experience. The micro training style of learning, we're breaking it down into snippets so that we're keeping that attention span for whether it's 60, 90 seconds. It's a quick skill of how to screw the top on this certain cup. You learn that skill. Maybe there's a quiz to make sure you have it, and then you're off to the next thing. And this is really driven by the way that the newer generations are learning. When I think about my stepkids and they're teenagers, they're on TikTok nonstop, sitting and scrolling. That's how that generation is learning, retaining knowledge. And so we have to meet them where they are in that style.
Yeah, and I think in general as well, I know for myself, even house projects, it's like I first go to YouTube to figure out, oh, we've got a problem with the garbage disposal. Okay, how do I reset the garbage disposal? I put in the brand name, garbage disposal reset, and on YouTube, it comes up and I automatically go to the shortest video and I start there and then I work my way down. But to your point, I think between attention spans and really we learn by doing as well as by watching, but I think getting just enough to get me to the next step is a lot of times where these things happen. And the flip side of that, Kat, is this whole long, laborious, I'm sitting for an hour for what I really need 30 or 60 seconds worth. It's not only a waste of time, but you lose them 5 or 10 minutes in. Is that kind of what you guys are finding?
Absolutely. We want to keep that engagement level high. And we know that the quicker we can get them the information and make it impactful, the more likely they are to retain that. And there's also this dance and this blend where we have to have the hybrid of virtual and in-person training. Anyone who says that tech can absolutely replace all training is not accurate, because when we think about someone learning cutting skills, how to operate with a sharp knife or how to operate a fryer or a grill, there still needs to be that human component to make sure that they do know the training that they've taken, that they are in a safe environment, they know how to safely operate for themselves and those around them. So our technology really aims to not only provide that quick, impactful training so that it can be retained, but to also lend itself for that in-person hybrid style. So essentially, if I take my micro training on how to operate the fryer and I've passed the quiz and I'm feeling great, it's a good day at work, I've done it, I'm ready to rock, I can virtually raise my hand in the Wisetail platform and it will alert my manager that I'm ready to be observed on that task. My manager gets a notification, comes over, they're like, Kat, I see you nailed it, you passed your quiz, you took the training, I'm stoked, let's see what you got. If I nail it, phenomenal, they can pass me. Maybe I don't, and then we can go back and focus on what I need to work on. So it's very different in certain situations when we're thinking about safety, from reading, watching, and learning to actually doing.
Yeah, I love that component of it because I don't remember talking about that last time of just this idea of being able to engage digitally with the staff members back and forth. You talked also earlier, Kat, about how you guys are delivering the content, whether it's BYOD or bring your own device, it's a device that you put in the store. Why is that so important that you guys are on so many different platforms? Because I think you said it earlier, and one of the things I'd love for you to double click on is obviously it's purpose built for those type of people. And the fact that it's deliverable in multiple mediums, I think is really key to the 4 generations that you spoke of earlier.
100%. I think that we need to provide flexible solutions to meet learners where they are at. We have some folks who are going to learn better on their own device, and I'll put in that we do have safeguards. We have an at work feature, so someone can't just access things at home if you don't want them to. But if you have a BYOD policy and that's acceptable for them to use it, then we want to support them because they're probably very comfortable being on their own device. We also have folks who learn better at a desktop. They want to go in the back office. They want the quiet. They want to sit, look at what they're doing, and really absorb it. I still, to this point, with how many trips I take and conferences I go to, I still always book my plane tickets on my desktop browser, and it's just more...
My hotel's the same.
Yeah.
My hotels and my flights, 9 out of 10 are booked on the browser, not on my phone. I know I can, and it's only when I get stuck that I do, when I'm having a change of flight mid-trip or whatever else, that I'll go change it on my phone. But 9 out of 10 at least are on... but maybe that's a generational thing, but I think it's the accessibility. The other thing that you had mentioned, Kat, is the ease of getting to the data. I think we've all been in that place where we really need something. Yeah. It's something you might do once a month at the end of a shift, or not the end of a shift, because that's but now I'm the manager on duty, and I haven't been the manager on duty for 6 weeks because I've moved into a district role, but now I got to be the manager. Being able to get to the content when I need it, where I need it. Help me understand how and why you guys make it so accessible to be able to capture those things, because if it's not relevant, then they stop using it and it stops becoming a tool that they're going to rely on.
100%. And that's really where bringing on the player link technology has made such a huge difference for us with our content management system. If I'm in the back of house and I am completely blanking on a recipe, or in a really common scenario when it's quite literally life or death, a server runs back, I am slammed. I'm trying to get dishes out as quickly as I can. And that server's, hey, does X, Y, and Z dish have peanuts in it? I've got an allergy. I don't know. But if I can click it really quickly, grab that recipe card and see the allergens in it, that's going to make that guest experience better for the person there. The server is going to be more confident delivering that information versus someone just saying, I don't think so. Or I'm really slammed, go ask the manager. So it's really not just about supporting the individuals that need access to the content, but driving a better guest experience.
Yeah, and I think I try and remind people about tools like a Wisetail. I'm old enough to remember my childhood phone number, but I can't remember my children's phone number because my children's phone number is in my phone. But at the time, back when I was a kid, I had to call home and I had to remember because I didn't have a cell phone in my pocket. And so we think about these things when the data becomes accessible in your workforce and where you're working, it becomes something that you'd rather not have to remember, but go look it up, whether that be the peanut allergy or that's how to cut an onion or that's what's in this chicken piccata. Yep. You're going to go look those things up. You're going to go look up what's the temperature need to be for the dishwasher to ensure that you're being sanitary. You're going to go look that up rather than committing it to memory because you know what? All too often, if it's easy to look up, they'll go do it. Is that kind of what you guys find?
100%, especially when someone is onboarding and released to their shift, their first few shifts. You've just gone through the fire hose absorption method of training. There is no way the human brain can retain every single data point and every single piece. And so we need to be there to support them in those moments that they need us.
So you mean like the way I got trained when I started serving in restaurants, where I followed somebody around for 2 days, 2 shifts, and then I was on my own? That wasn't an efficient way to go get stuff done back then?
You're an expert. I remember my first serving role. No one showed me how to carry a tray full of drinks. What do you think happened the first time I carried a tray full of drinks?
There might have been an accident.
There were some women playing a great game of mahjong, and I dumped the Chardonnay all over the table. So we've all got a story of, at the end of the day, a poor training process.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. The other thing that I hear from people is, Kat, and I'd love to have you guys talk through this, is I don't have time to build all of this training. So that's a tough one for a lot, especially owner-operators, small businesses, medium-sized businesses. They're like, I don't know. I don't have time to do all of this. Help walk our audience through, what does that actually mean? Because I think you guys have got some canned stuff that you guys can help them with, and then there's stuff that's personalized for the brand. So help our audience understand that it's not a all or nothing type thing. You don't have to have every single thing in there day one in order to use the platform, and it doesn't always have to be you. It could be your best server or whatever else.
100%. And we're always going to meet folks where they are. Being in restaurant tech as long as I have been, it is a 100% fact that resourcing will always be a challenge. I have yet to meet anyone in this industry who says, you know what, Kat, I've got some extra time. I can hang out right now. Let's chit chat. Everyone is wearing so many hats. And so for that reason, we do have a team that, one, can create custom content. If you really want that customized experience, or you have very unique processes, we can go ahead and create that for you. We also have off-the-shelf content that's ready to go. And because we are majority in the restaurant industry in terms of our client base, we really have everything in that off-the-shelf content that a restaurant would need to be able to get implemented and onboard their system as quickly as possible. And we partner with a lot of third-party content providers. So if we don't have it, we're buddies with someone who does, and we'll get it in the platform.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I know came up was really not just the quality of the data that you guys are going through, but really, I guess, the fact that it's all technologically driven. Now you guys know where are the team members continuing to revisit these trainings. Can you talk through why that's a critical piece? We all know that Google and Facebook and all these other people know where we're at on the internet. In your guys' platform, not that it's trying to be creepy, but it's, hey, they're continuing to have to look up certain things. Maybe that's something that we need to do in-person training to do that. Have you guys found success because you guys are seeing the data? What classes do they continue to replay? Is it something that we need to either clarify the class or create some, maybe it's some SOP that's on the wall next to those spaces? Talk me through a little bit of that as well, Kat.
It is, data is king. I think that we can all agree on that. And we need to use the data to drive our decision making. And when we look at the example that you just gave around, let's say, searching. So we have the ability to look at the search terms that are most commonly looked up. So if you go in there and the number one search term is around something very specific, then you know that we probably didn't train them well enough on that. Or there's a retention problem. We need to have a follow-up training every so often at a set cadence. But that data can be paramount in making sure that folks are continuing to operate in the way that they need to. So that can be huge.
Yeah. The other piece of your guys' product that you talked about at the intro is this task management. All of us that have worked in restaurants, which I would say is probably 90% of the people that are listening to this show, know that there's certain things that have to happen day in and day out.
And now a word from one of our sponsors. Every restaurant operator understands the chaos of a restaurant kitchen during the meal rush. Restaurant Technologies Total Oil Management Solutions is an end-to-end automated oil management system that delivers, filters, monitors, and recycles your cooking oil, taking the dirtiest jobs out of your kitchen and letting your employees focus on more important tasks. Control the kitchen chaos with Restaurant Technologies and make your kitchen safer. No upfront cost. To learn more, check out rti-inc.com or call 888-796-4200. 499.
Why is having those checklists so critical to ensuring that the restaurant operates the way that you want it to? And why digitizing is that, not just having a checklist that somebody's going through and doing that? Why does that make such a difference?
Yeah, a few key reasons there, Jeremy. One is we support a lot of franchise groups. And so really we need to be able to support that brand consistency across different locations, different owners, and even larger organizations that we support. We need that brand consistency. That is key. Second, having that digital trail is really key when we start to think about risk and liability in our day in and day out. If a complaint comes in weeks after something happened and we have that trail that, hey, we actually know that these tasks were completed that day. We have photo proof in these checklists that they were completed that are time stamped. We have that digital trail to be able to audit any kind of scenario that's coming up. That can be key in those moments. But primarily, repeated tasks can start to get personalized. I might figure out a way to essentially pencil whip through my daily tasks and get them done quickly, and I do it my way. And then Jeremy comes in for the afternoon shift, and Jeremy's doing it a completely different way. So the individual guest who came in earlier is going to have a different experience based on when they come in. Versus if we standardize that checklist, standardize that process, and provide the right resources for our workforce, then we're going to drive that consistency.
Yeah, dig a little bit deeper into, you said you have photographic proof. So how have you guys seen that beneficial for brands? Because whether I moved from California to Texas, and California's got a lot of litigation related to employees and how you engage with employees. So I could see that being a huge thing where, oh, they treated me this way, or they were discriminating against me because I wasn't doing my side work properly or something along those lines. Is it that, or is it, where are you seeing the photographic proof really help the businesses be better?
Absolutely. So in our checklist tool, we have the ability to add media to any response. So as an employee, if I am working through a checklist on, let's say, cleaning out the refrigerator, hasn't been done in a few days, someone needs to go in there and do it, I've got the checklist. Throughout the process, I can add media for each step, or if it's just a final result, send in a picture, temperature checks, things of that nature. When we think about the safety of our guest, the satisfaction, and making sure that we're doing things the right way, that photo proof can be really impactful.
I think that's amazing. And you talked about risk mitigation as well. It's just huge because we know now that they did tempt the walk-in, they did tempt the coolers there, and you can do that through that checklist, I'm assuming, and really making that part of your process.
Exactly.
We talked about it pre-show, and it wouldn't be a show in 2025 if we didn't talk about AI. How is AI impacting really, at the end of the day, the end user experience? Let's start there and then work our way back to how you guys are incorporating it into the product, because I think everybody has some form of AI that's lived. We've known that it's been around for a long time in the technical world, but now it's been commercialized such that people know that it exists. So how is it impacting the end user, I guess? Let's start there.
100%. So a few pieces of AI that we've incorporated at Wisetail. One is subtitling in videos. So as a user, that can be very important from an accessibility standpoint, that a video has subtitles in it. Or even when you think about if a user wants to watch a piece of training, maybe they're out on the floor, but maybe it's a little bit slow, but they can't have their volume up and they want to be able to watch it. The fact that we can utilize AI to create those subtitles and they can stand there and still complete their training is huge. We also have a piece that we are calling, which I love this word, textract. So our platform has the ability that we can scan any image and allow that to be searchable. So as a user, if I'm looking for anything related to a certain word, a certain phrase, if it's in an image in a document, it's going to be able to pull that for me. So a couple of quick ways for the end user, but also when we think about the admin's life and how we can make that easier, because again, they wear many hats and typically are light on resourcing. We have recently partnered with Synthesia AI, and Synthesia is an AI content creation service that several of our clients are already utilizing, where they can go in, put a script into this, select an avatar and a background. It would be no different than how I'm speaking to you now. They move their hands, they talk, they have expression, and they're able to produce these videos at rapid speed of very high quality and get those trainings rolled out versus having to spend all of the time on production, video, lighting, actors, all of that. So trying to make their lives easier always.
Yeah, no, and quite frankly, I use some AI to even edit the podcast, and it's amazing, even from a content perspective. You talk about the transcripts, that's huge, and being able to put the transcript with the words on top of the video, but also even being able to cut out some of the fluff and all of that production quality is so huge because back to your micro training, they only have a 30 or 60 second. So cutting out all of these filler words that I use while my brain's thinking. And in regular human conversation, it's not a problem. But when I'm trying to get a point across really quickly, I love that you guys are incorporating that in. So where are you guys finding success, I guess? Talk to me. Let's talk one or two success stories of people that didn't have Wisetail. And you don't have to use brand names, but talk me through. And if you want to use brand names, that's totally fine. I'm not here to be the brand police, but I'd love to paint a picture that says before Wisetail, what did it look like? And after Wisetail, what did it look like for a brand that you're at liberty to share?
100%. I think that a very common use case that we're seeing right now is where we are not just an LMS, we're truly an employee enablement platform with so many different facets to us. We're seeing a lot of tech consolidation success. So when we think of all of the capabilities Wisetail has, and let's look at a standard restaurant group tech stack where we would have an LMS, an operational checklist tool, some kind of content management system. Maybe it's something like a SharePoint or a Drive, whatever it might be, a communication tool to be able to push out communications, an intranet tool, a reward system for employees. So off the top of my head, thinking really quickly, in the hot lights of filming a podcast, I just came up with 6 different pieces of tech that coming to Wisetail become one. A lot of our clients from previous to the acquisition and building out the operational checklist have adopted those new pieces of the platform for that tech consolidation. And the folks coming to us, that's really the difference maker for them in their decision-making process is that consolidation. So I would absolutely say that's a huge impact we're having. And we talked about it previously with brand consistency and that element, but really working on those operational inefficiencies. How can we change this and make things better, get that consistency, get the entire team behind the process, behind what we're doing? And so we really went from years ago being so learning and development focused to now really being driven from the operational side of the house. And how can we help these companies reach their goals and drive better guest experiences?
Yeah, and I really love the evolution since I first learned about Wisetail, because it really was amazing LMS with the ability to do that. But now you're incorporating not just the learning side of it, but the workflow management and really helping to drive not only consistency, but ultimately, where does it impact the end user? Because I think retention is probably something people underestimate. We talk about the reasons why people leave jobs and or stay at jobs. The ability to be successful at their job is in the top 3 every single time. And the only way you can do that is if they continue to invest in you. So I guess I'd love a little bit of clarity on why you think having a tool like Wisetail is so critical so that they can see a future beyond kind of what their day in the life is as a bartender or as a cashier at a fast food place or whatever.
Absolutely. We recently had a conversation with an admin, one of our clients, and he really stressed to us that retention is based on day number 1. That first interaction with the organization, that first day of how was I trained, how was I treated, how did I integrate into the culture, and how did I understand my role here? That is what determines retention at the end of the day. So when we look at Wisetail, doing something new is scary. I don't care who you are. It's exciting, but it's scary when you're walking in on day 1 and you don't know anyone and you're starting something new. We want to be that safe space that's making you feel a part of this organization. It's driving the culture. It's bringing you in. We're supporting you to make sure that you are enabled to be able to do your job to the best of your ability. And we're supporting you to make sure that you have access to any information you need in the real-time moment. So it's day one, being that space that they go to, but then being the place that they go to throughout their time at a company.
Yeah, no, and I love that idea because I think all too often we don't think about those things. And then we go, why do we keep turning over people? And so, no, because you haven't given them the tools to be successful. It's scary. I come in, and if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to get beat up by my customers or by my team members because I don't know what I'm doing. But allowing them that opportunity, and if you hire the right people, to your point, I don't want to say the sky's the limit, but they have a lot of opportunity to continue to accelerate their own growth and continue to make it to that next level by jumping into the tool.
100.
What did we miss today, Kat, other than how to get a hold of you and buy more product? Is there anything that we didn't go through that you continue to see when you go into brands and you're talking to different people?
I think the thing that sets Wisetail apart, and I'm bringing it full circle as we head home here, Jeremy, but I mentioned in the beginning, we were founded in 2008 in Bozeman, and we've really stuck to the core of who we are. And so when you join Wisetail, you're joining our culture, which is that human-centric element. And as great as the entire company is, really the stars of the show are our account managers, the individuals who are partnered with our clients, helping them day in and day out, in addition to our tech support team. Our job here is to make our clients' lives easier, to make sure that they're reaching their goals. And as a company, I think we've really stuck to the core of who we are and what drives us, which at the end of the day are people.
Yeah, no, I see that out in the space. Anybody that you ever talk to that's on your guys' platform cannot say enough amazing things about it. So from that perspective, that's awesome. How do people get in touch? How do people learn more? What can they expect if they reach out? Is it, hey, we're going to give you 400 things to do, and now your time that you don't have, now you're going to get stuck? Obviously, I know that's not the case, but tell people what to expect if they reach out, and what would an engagement with you guys look like?
Absolutely. Anyone listening to this, feel free to add me on LinkedIn, Kat Claypool, but you can also visit wisetail.com, and we have a lot of phenomenal resources on there. If you're not quite ready to sit down and talk to a human, we have resources for you too. We have a monthly webinar that we do where we demo the platform. It's anonymous for the viewer. You can jump in, watch a quick demo, see what you want to see. We have some interactive click-through demos if you don't even want to watch a video and you just want to see a little bit more. And then of course, my favorite is please reach out. We would love to get time to learn more about your organization and how we can help you reach your goals.
I love that. And the one thing I would reiterate that we said early in the show is a purpose-built tool that's for frontline workers is very different than any of the other LMSs out there, because at the end of the day, learning management and really the task management, you guys have the reps. You guys have the miles on the odometer to go into restaurants to explain to them how they need to do this versus just some basic tool that might be out there on the internet that you can find that's probably might be cheaper, but it's not purpose-built, and ultimately it's not going to solve the problem that you need.
That would make a heck of a bumper sticker there, Jeremy. I'd like to get that as a quote for us. That's good.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on, and again, I love that you guys continue to innovate. Everybody that I've ever worked with that works with your product, or anybody that I've ever had on the show or talked to at a trade show or whatnot, you guys are always amazing, very approachable, not hard sales pitchy. It's, hey, we want to help you continue to accelerate your growth, and let us help you do that if you're ready. So, Kat, thank you so much for educating us where you guys are at, where you guys are going. To our listeners, guys, we know that you guys have got lots of choices, like I said, so thank you guys for hanging out. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the show and make it a great day.